to another episode of Core Discussions. We are a group, we call ourselves the Core. We're here to discuss many topics from movies, sports, music, TV, entertainment, just whatever we feel like that day. I am the host and moderator. My name is Phil. You can also call me Legacy. I'm going to hand it off to the man to the left of me.
I am Bobby. I'm the solo one. You can call me Bobby D3.
My name's Max, and get ready for this one. This one's going to get heated.
Hunter, also known as Mount 55.
Eon Catan here, get ready to rumble.
And Vitamin J, let's go.
Alright, so we're a group of friends. We've been friends for a long time. We just one day wanted to start a podcast because we have a lot of discussions in our spare times over different arguments. Right now we're doing our top 10s. Each one of them, including, again, Max's wife Candace, all sent me a top 10. Number 1 being the best, number 10 being the worst of the bunch. We all wanted to, and then I calculated it. Number 1 got 10 points, number 10 got 1 point, and so on and so forth. I then added it all up to make a top 10s list. Today, our discussion is most overrated movies. Now, in order to qualify for this, you must first have a critic score of 80% or higher on Rotten Tomatoes. Again, 80% or higher. To qualify, and we all have to put a movie that we have watched. We can't just say something that we watched all the way through. We couldn't have watched part of it because there are some movies we have made fun of a certain character, Vitamin J, about, but we haven't actually watched the movie all the way through. We just didn't like the movie for the 30 minutes we watched it. So just to be fair, and just to have our opinions, again, this is, as you all know, art is subjective. It's subjective, or is it? Yeah, art is subjective, so, we all have different takes and different views.
Be ready for some hot takes.
Movie, you guys, there is another one we've done about this. It was so bad it was good, where we took movies that had 50% or lower. Well, actually, I think it was lower than 50%. From Rotten Tomatoes critic scores, but there were ones we actually liked, and we discussed those. So we're just flipping it around. Again, this is critic scores, not audience scores. So there were some movies that we would have loved to discuss that we also don't like, but they just hit the 79 threshold or 73, and so we were like, no, that's not enough. So this is what we got. Be ready. You know what? See where it goes. There's going to be some movies that are very loved that, let me tell you, we didn't have a hot opinion on. There was quite a bit more agreement on this one, but there were a couple movies. We didn't have a single movie that every single one of us had on our list. I do believe we did have over 30 plus movies on this, so to kind of show you the differences in our views. I think it was actually over 40 movies on this. So, gentlemen, are we ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we're going to start off with, there was a tie in 10th place again. So there's 11 movies total on this list because there was a tie. I'm going to start off with You, The Mountain, coming in at 10 points with an 84% score, The Master. Go ahead.
So The Master, it was recommended to me by Vitamin J, and I'm kind of pissed off about it, honestly, because it's my number 1 overrated movie. This movie does have a lot of things going for it. I mean, it's got Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman. It is beautifully acted. But this movie suffers the greatest sin a movie can have, and it is horrendously boring. It is like 2 hours and some change of, just freaking boring. It's about coal and blah, blah. Just boring as all heck.
Jay, you have a rebuttal to one of the accusations before?
Whoa. I'm the host. Okay, that's correct. I'm the host. This man jumping all in I'm the man here.
You don't go ask that question.
NASCAR as the second favorite best wrestler on my list would say, no, you're wrong.
I'll do whatever I want.
Okay, no, but go ahead. We'll take it.
Yeah, I disagree. And the next movie I recommend, I guess I'll just have one with more explosions for you.
You said he's like your
Transformers.
Are you calling me dumb?
Look, I told everyone at the time this would get heated.
Oh my god.
It's not that I didn't get the movie, it's just that it's boring.
Now, The Master is perfectly acceptable movie in my opinion, it is not a movie that it's not fast paced for sure. It's definitely dialogue heavy, but the performances in it by um, Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix, I think, carry the movie. And it's not P.T. Anderson's best work. Obviously, in my opinion, his best work is The Way of Blood, which I better not see on this list, otherwise I'm quitting. But I mean,
You
it's
said
just
something on the movie. You
Yeah.
said perfectly
Huh?
acceptable.
it's the Masters are acceptable. It's long, but it's
That's
acceptable.
a settlement on it.
Yeah, I guess Jacob thinks that I didn't like it because there wasn't explosions and shit, but
And what? And what? Sorry, sir. Sir.
you gotta edit it out, man.
Yeah, bleep him out.
Alright, say it again without the
You-
explosions.
I'm sorry, but I guess Jacob thinks I did enjoy it because it doesn't have explosions and all that stuff, but dude, it's just, I can't remember the runtime of it, but it felt like, it's like maybe a 2-hour movie, maybe some longer than that, but it felt like it was 5 hours of just nothing.
I think I haven't seen this movie, but I think I'm gonna agree with Hunter because this will be the only time we talk about Jacob's recommendations on this list. Okay.
Shots fired.
Again, Jacob, again, the master, beautifully
It's not
acted.
even. It's not even that long. It's 137
It's-
minutes.
It's
Well,
2 hours, 60
I'll
minutes.
tell you what, it felt a lot longer. I'm gonna tell you that. I mean, like I watched it with my wife, and she left halfway to go grocery shopping. She'd rather have gone grocery shopping than finish that movie.
Oh, that's bad.
I'm not gonna talk about your wife's movie.
Yeah,
She didn't like.
we're not coming after wives on
No,
this
but what's
podcast.
next? What's next?
We're not coming after wives on this podcast.
She didn't like Glengarry Glen Ross, so that's. You know.
I will agree with you on that. That movie.
Okay.
We're moving on.
All right, the next movie was voted on with those 10 points. Bobby and Candace were the only one that voted for it. They both voted it at sixth place, 90% score on Rotten Tomatoes. It is Bridesmaids.
I just did not find any of the jokes were funny. There was it did not make me
I
laugh.
legit thought that movie was pretty funny.
Look, when you said the ultimate crime is be boredom, the ultimate crime in a comedy movie is me failing to laugh.
Yeah. This movie was very close to making on my list too. It was really close.
I will give Candace an explanation. So she says this movie, when we went to see this movie, it was very much hyped, and it was labeled The Hangover
For women.
And it didn't reach that mark. Candace didn't think it was that funny. In fact, in the movie, they were going to go to Vegas, so I thought that's where the Hangover part was going to start, and then they get kicked off the plane and didn't go to Vegas. So I thought whoever said it was The Hangover for women lied because there's nothing like The Hangover.
Yeah, I just
So am I the only one that like legit enjoyed that?
I
haven't seen it.
The only part
Yeah.
I laughed at is because I'm a juvenile and I have like juvenile humors when Melissa McCarthy is
prepping the toilet.
Yeah.
having some issues in the
Having
bathroom.
a bowel movement in the sink.
And I'll tell you why it didn't end up on my list. Because I was like, okay, this might be the only movie where I found Melissa McCarthy funny, which is why I took it off my list.
Have you seen Spy? That was pretty good.
No, I don't watch movies.
I refuse to watch. I don't want to watch her movies anymore.
Her SNL stuff's kind of funny though.
Which one?
Melissa McCarthy's SNL stuff.
Yeah, she's good as hell.
She's actually done some. There's a Sean Spicer she did. It's pretty. It's actually like pretty funny.
Do not watch that Netflix
The superhero movie? Oh, it's so bad.
It is so
And
bad.
my wife would be mad at me if I didn't mention she is in Gilmore Girl.
She is, yeah.
But again, I just don't find this movie funny. And that's me. That's the biggest sin of a comedy movie. Is being not funny. It's being not funny.
I mean, I've only seen it once in Nelson theaters when it came out, but I thought it was pretty good back then. So I usually break movies off my first impression. So especially comedies.
Well, comedies that you had to.
Well, like I said,
Yeah, they really.
it didn't make
only-
me laugh. It didn't make me laugh. That's why it's on the list.
Most comedies are really only good the first time. After the first time, they're kind of like, yeah. There are a couple that.
It got 90%. It should be 30%.
Wow.
That's a bit harsh.
No, dang.
I'm on my hot take right there. It should be 30.
Let it out, Bobby. Tell us how you really feel.
Look, I was hyped up. Everybody saw how funny it is, how great it is. I watched
It's
it.
funny. It's
Here's
funny.
me the whole time. Just waiting for a chuckle. It didn't happen.
All right, moving on to our next movie. Haven't seen this movie, but it came out 2015. Nice little mystery thriller, rated R. It came in at a 90% Rotten Tomato score. This is at number 9 with 11 points. It was Hardy voted it at 6th place. Max, you voted at 5th. It is The Witch.
And again, I'm going to say this. We're going to talk about Jared's recommendations 3 times here because this is another one here. This is supposed to be a horror movie, and this is a long, plodding, boring horror movie. And you really don't ever get to the punch. You know, a lot of times, like in Hereditary, masterfully build up a slow tension, and then it hits you at the last 30 minutes. Stuff goes crazy. And this movie, you're waiting for it, and something happens, but it ends with a whimper.
I like to also mention this movie's runtime is an hour and 32 minutes.
That's it, really.
According to Rotten Tomatoes.
It's about long.
I legit fell asleep. I fell asleep during this movie.
It is rated 90 on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 59 from the fans. I agree more with the fans on that, the audience score. That movie, as far as horror movie goes, maybe Jacob, maybe you and I just aren't as smart as you. We just didn't like it.
Well, from what I'm hearing is, if you recommend a movie,
I'll have to recommend something more jump scares for you.
At least some scares. This movie didn't have any.
Yeah, I didn't find not one bit.
The scariest part was in the beginning.
I generally liked it. It's the whole. Okay, name another movie. That's
No.
so off.
It's
The
your.
baby
It's your.
No, he's talking about the beginning.
Name another movie that begins with the baby being kidnapped and being turned into butter.
Like I'm saying, it peaked at the beginning. That's the problem.
No, it doesn't, because then the whole starts with the curse on the family, and it all builds up really well. I liked it.
I argue that this movie never beat.
Oh my god.
Well, and then we had to like put subtitles on for most of it because I could not understand a word.
Yeah, I did have to put subtitles on because it's hard to understand the father. But
In case anyone hadn't seen it, it's set like in what, the 1700s or something like that.
colonial times.
it's like yeah, and so a big part of the movie that I liked was like basically the whole movie, all the events happened because the dad was too proud to admit that he was wrong about moving over there. So like the whole events conspired because the dad was just too proud.
You're wrong.
You think you would have liked it?
Yeah, I think he can watch the movie. He would have learned that. Okay, never mind, Jake.
I would
should watch
also
it.
like to put out a special disclaimer. There will be spoiler alerts in this, so don't blame us if you haven't seen the movie.
I mean, you had time.
Yeah, you've had time.
most of
So,
the movies,
there's going to be some spoiler alerts, so just going to put that out there. Alright, coming in at number 8, Hunter and Jacob voted for it. We're going to continue with our theme of horror. Hunter put it at number 3, Jacob put it at number 6, with a 2007 hit by critics with 83%. It spun off a couple of sequels. Paranormal Activity.
Oh my god.
It was a low budget effects mockumentary method results of Paranormal Activity simply turns a haunted house. It didn't make a lot of money because of such a low budget that really spawned sequels, but it was really hailed. I remember it being hailed very highly.
The marketing for this movie.
Well, I think the thing that kind of ruined it for me is like, you know, all the advertising for it made it seem like they advertised it as, oh, it's the scariest movie since like The Exorcist and stuff. And then I watched it and I'm like, not one scary thing happened or anything. So I think maybe if it didn't have all that hype, I wouldn't judge it so harshly. But I was expecting to like pee my pants. But I mean, there's nothing scary about the movie
I
at all.
remember the advertising saying it was so scary, movie theaters refused to show it.
Yeah, and it just wasn't scary.
You know what we call that? Lying. That's how you sell it.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I think you probably had the same sentiment, Jacob.
So yeah, okay. So the marketing was like really, really good. It was really effective, kind of like the Blair Witch, where they made the Blair Witch seem like it was like this really happened. The marketing is what made people really want to see the movie, and the movie was already filmed like at least a year before the death was taken. But like there wasn't not much happened until like the end. I remember we were in theaters and we saw it. People were like so amped up to see it that they like freaked out when the door would just creak. I don't know. There was a lot of hype for not a lot of interesting things until the very end. The very end got interesting, but I mean, you had to wait for an hour and a half, hour build up and build up can be good, but not in this case. The whole and the boyfriend, what's his name, Micah. I found him very irritating.
Yes, I was not upset when he died.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I always find annoying how he's always like, "Can I videotape everything?"
Well, I mean, that part don't bother me because that's the movie.
I
But
know.
I do agree. It was kind of as far as horror movies go. I mean, it's mundane. I mean, me and the other trippers love horror movies, so we're kind of I guess snobby about it. But this horror movie, I would say you could show the movie to kids and they wouldn't be scared.
And it spawned off so many, there's so many paranormal activity movies, and they're all essentially like the same, except for they just slightly build on like the whole cult thing. As you know, well, the first one didn't even really touch on the cult. It was really the second one that
I like
started
the second one. Yeah, that made me laugh at least.
started it.
Yeah.
It's just for the hype that it got. 83% is entirely too high, in my opinion.
What would you give?
Yeah,
it?
what was the audience score for that movie?
It was
The
57.
audience score was like 50.
It was 57. I have it right here.
57,
I'd put it even lower than that. I'd put it probably like
Yeah.
40%.
Well, I'm just glad like that. It seems like the general consensus kind of had like the same feelings. Like this wasn't worth all the hype.
How many points did that get?
That one got 13 points. One is it's a trope that has been followed. It is by Steven Spielberg, E.T.
Yeah.
This one had 14 points. It's just so overrated. Like,
I found it boring as a kid.
It's so bland. The only good thing about it, in my opinion, is the score. The scores are like most Spielberg movies. The score is going to be good, but this movie is so boring. And especially, I tried rewatching it a few years ago, and I still can't. Like even as a kid, I thought it was boring. I still find it boring to this day. I just can't. I think people really only like it because of nostalgia. I really do. So.
This movie does have my favorite bit of censorship of it in history.
Oh, yeah.
In the original movie, the people who come in and try to steal ET at the end, the government agents had guns. And then they re-released it in the 90s and they replaced it all with walkie-talkies. And then so if you look at the censored version that came out in the 90s, they're pointing walkie-talkies at Elliot and ET as if it was to threaten. Yeah.
Real.
It's my favorite bit of censorship because it's so utterly ridiculous.
Hey, there's another good thing. Didn't E.T. help give rise to Reese's Pieces? That'd be two good things.
That sounds really bad.
that was like, for me, I think the idea, because I will give it the credit of the idea about like finding your way home and that, and kind of like the boy meeting an alien and becoming friends. That whole part has spawned a lot of stuff, and a lot of movies have taken from that.
Oh, I'm not denying.
I will
that.
give the creativity of the idea and the themes great. The movie is, oh my gosh, because I didn't see this till I was about 11, 12 years old. Just because of all the hype. I'm sorry, it's disappointing. It was just like, okay, cool. Like Spielberg, I expect better. It was just like, okay,
Look,
that's
when is this gonna get good?
when is it? Like you had the whole we've all seen the bicycle moment where, but it's just like, okay, like what is this? This is like I don't get it. I'm not. What? How do people love this movie so much? I was flabbergasted.
It's nostalgia, I'm telling you.
I think it's like you guys said. I think it's the song. I think it's the song. The song's just so good.
Now we'll give credit for child actors. They have good performances.
Solid. Who was it? Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore was in it, so shout out to that. Child acting's pretty good, but I'm just like, yo, this has been done a lot better.
It's not a movie I won't show my kids.
And I feel if you take away the name Steve Spielberg, it's not as big a movie. Take him away, I'm gonna say overrated. This critics and I disagree. I think it had a 72% audience score, so yeah, didn't work for me. Didn't work.
I agree.
Didn't work. All right. The next one is again another movie I voted for. It was actually myself and Max. Max put it at number 3. I put it at number 5. It had an 83% score on Rotten Tomatoes. and it's a 51% audience score. The 2005 comedy / kids film with a hour and 55-minute runtime. It was also a remake from a very popular musical that was made in the 60s or 70s, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
What, that?
Yeah, that one had an
Really?
83% Rotten Tomatoes. I thought everyone universally agreed that movie was trash.
Yeah, I didn't know the critics
I'm shocked.
rated that high.
Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka probably should be in prison. He shouldn't be around little children.
I agree.
They didn't even do the Oompa Loompas right. There's nothing about this movie, I don't think, that was any sort of improvement on the original. I mean, it had a typical Tim Burton feel, but nothing about this movie. Even the squirrels were done terrible because of CGI. It was
They actually had real squirrels at one point in that scene too. They did train the squirrels.
Oh, they did. Maybe it was. It still looked pretty bad, but.
Well, and I just don't think we necessarily needed a backstory
Yeah.
for
Like
Right.
the original has so many classic songs. I can't name you a song in this one.
You didn't want to. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of 2 hours. When I watched it, I remember the first time I watched it. It was at our friend Stephanie's birthday party. And I remember looking to the guy next to me, and we said the same thing. That was a waste of 2 hours of my life. And I think my disappointment is I love the original Willy Wonka. Oh my gosh. It's one of the movies, and we'll probably talk about this later on. I can turn it anytime and watch the rest of the movie. I love it. It has great songs. I remember I got the golden ticket, all the Imagination, all the Oompa Loompa songs. And I was expecting a little more. Like, I was like, okay, but it just was like, it was Tim Burton. And it was like, no, that's not what this is. This is not that. This is not creepy. Like you said, he was creepy. Gene Wilder in the first one was funny, sarcastic. You got him. This guy was just plain weird.
And also, the original had heart. I felt no heart or soul in this movie. The original, you can just tell Willy Wonka he cared about what he was doing.
Yeah.
Charlie was
yeah.
really. This one I felt nothing. I felt no emotion in either one.
Yeah, like when he said that, he has a line where I think it was Veruca comes up to him and says something, and he says sarcastically, like, I don't care. But it just didn't hit. Like in the original, when Gene Wilder said something sarcastic, it was funny. It was just his character of like when Augustus falls in and he's like, oh no, we gotta save him, and doesn't really do anything to save him. Like there was a lot more. I felt there was more of a message. The backstory was so stupid. Like again, who cares about Willy Wonka? I didn't sign up for that. I don't care. His whole dad was a dentist. I don't care.
That was really weird.
Like, I was disappointed. This movie sucked. I was so upset.
I'm
watching
just
the whole time.
shocked the critics gave it that
Well,
high.
yeah, when I did the research for this list, I don't know how I came across this movie because it's not like I would have think to search it if I thought
No,
everyone agreed.
I thought
Yeah, when I searched it, 83%. What are these critics thinking?
How many reviews did I have? How many?
230 reviews.
That's wow. I was thinking it's a lot.
If I had known that, that probably would have made my list.
Yeah, I don't know what there is to like about it.
Nothing.
The only thing about it, the only thing that's like good per se would be like it's closer to the book than the original, but that it doesn't really mean anything when the movie's not good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it probably was more faithful to the book, but still, I mean, when you make a remake to a classic, even if it's not as close to the book as others will like, you got a lot to live up to, and it's failed in every single area.
Yeah. And again, a big issue I had also was all the Oompa Loompas were played by one person. In the original, they were different, which I felt represented the Oompa Loompa culture better because it was like, yeah, they're all going to be different, not look all the same, and they're going to be different people. So they made them more people because of that, they all look different. And, it bugged me throughout the movie. It really did. It just bugged me the whole time.
And did anyone want this movie?
No one's sitting down saying, you know what, I would love to see if there's anybody on the face of the planet that says, you know what, I'll choose this one over the original.
That's a problem with a lot of remakes in general. I feel like this is like a side note. I feel like Disney keeps remaking movies because I feel like that like gets in the copyright or something. I don't know because like some of the remakes are really bad.
I was actually going to say, I think they made this movie because the copyright's about to run out, so they need to make it.
Probably
Yeah.
that, and Hollywood just doesn't. They don't like. There's not too many original ideas.
It's better to be safe, quote unquote.
Well, it's just like a couple years years ago when, or maybe even longer than that, when they redid Ben-Hur. It's like, who the heck was asking for them to redo
No,
Ben-Hur?
if the first one's so iconic, you're only doomed to fail.
Oh yeah, it's very rare.
Yeah.
I get it, you're trying to make money, but Ben-Hur out of all the
Like,
business.
don't worry,
No one's asking for it.
Yeah, like, it's not a go-to. Like, you know, when they remake certain movies, I get it. Like, yes, some people might not like Transformers, but I get why they remake them because Transformers makes a bunch of money every single time.
Yeah.
Whether you hate it or like it, it makes money. This, I don't get it. I don't know.
The audience for Ben-Hur wasn't exactly clamoring to see another one.
Yeah.
They're gonna remake the Godfather. at some point.
They're not moviegoers.
And
Newsflash.
so I bet that for that chariot race, they use CGI instead of actual horses like the original. In the original, you can't top that chariot scene. You just can't top it.
Which I will give because like people, somebody did die during that shit.
No,
No, I
not
wasn't
that
there.
one. They didn't die on that.
Oh,
The
okay.
original. They had the 20.
Yeah, but
True.
no, I wasn't a fan of Ben-Hur. I did like that movie. So yeah, it was just like Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory. Like if you haven't seen it, please go see it. It's the original. It was so good. It's very fun. It's a very fun movie. Cool. Very good songs I still like to sing to. Again, Golden Ticket's like one of my favorite songs.
The Candyman.
Candyman is probably one of the best movie musicals I've ever watched. Like it's a classic. This one, like, don't even waste your time.
Song he did, Land of Imagination. I don't know what's
Yeah,
Pure Imagination.
Pure
That's
Imagination.
good.
Again, like nice. It was like very much nostalgic. You got the feel of because what it was supposed to be is when you go into that factory, it's pure imagination. It's like this crazy land of this candy. Like it's such a cool thing. This one, just creepy. Like if you're gonna do this movie, don't get Tim Burton. Don't. Like it doesn't make
If
sense.
anything, they should have done a sequel. Was it Charlie and the Glass Elephant?
Yeah.
And you can't. I don't know if you can necessarily do better than Gene Wilder as
No.
Willy Wonka.
No,
But-
it's yeah.
I think we beat this movie down.
We got it. We got it. I will give it this one thing: the child actors weren't like I can't blame the child actors. They're fine. I don't blame any of them. They did the job. All right. Sorry, I think I said there was two-way tie. There's actually a three-way tie. This last one. Ian, I'm gonna let you go on this one. This last one was voted number 1 by Mr. Catan, and it was voted number 7 by Max over there. It had a 90% critic score, 42% audience score. It was a very divisive movie, especially amongst his fan base. Coming back, it was when this movie came out in 2017. Has a huge fan base, divided many people, especially after I feel the success of the first one when they recreated this. It is Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
All right, where
That was
This is-
the second one.
where do I begin with this movie? I mean, okay, I'll say this: like when Episode 7 came out, I was excited, but let's be real, it was a New Hope again, and it was just a worse New Hope. So most of my friends back then were like, it's a New Hope again. Oh, but Star Wars again. It's all right. I already had my doubts then. And then when The Last Jedi came out, that completely shattered the fan base. Like, I watch Clone Wars. I watch Star Wars Rebels. I watch all the anime shows. I watch all the movies. I watch everything pretty much. I read books. This movie, you can tell I was excited because I was like, Ryan Johnson, I saw Looper. I've seen other movies he's done. He's done a really good job. I'd love to see what he does with Star Wars. But what happened with The Last Jedi was Catherine Kennedy was kind of like the mom at the supermarket. And Ryan Johnson was like the spoiled kid, and Catherine Kennedy was just pretty much like, oh, don't do that, Ryan. And then Ryan Johnson would just do whatever he wanted. And so the movie was just really, it was just horrible to me, like, because the main sin they did was Luke Skywalker not being Luke Skywalker. He felt more like a Jake Skywalker. He didn't feel like himself. They really demasculated him, and for really no reason. The only cool thing he does is at the end, which of course I'll spoil. If you haven't seen the movie, you're not missing much. But when he comes back, when he transforms his body across space and makes a projection, like that's the only cool part I like in the movie. Pretty much everything else I think is trash. Leia like flying through space. The audience like didn't know if they should laugh.
No one addresses it.
Huh? What is it?
No one addresses it in the movie.
Yeah, it's like She literally should have just been like, yo, Darth Vader was my father. He was like the freaking most powerful Dark Jedi in the world, like, or in the universe. But yeah, like there's so many like just bad scenes. But literally like flying your spaceship through another ship. It's like, if we could do that, why didn't we do that on the Death Star? Why didn't we do it on freaking any space battle? It just completely ruins the continuity. And the problem was Rian Johnson did not do his homework. He wanted to make his own movie. He didn't want to think about the fans. He wanted to make his own thing. And it really shows, and it really, there's some people that like the movie, and it's fine. You probably don't know Star Wars as well as I do, and that's probably why you like it more. But the thing is, it's subjective, it's up to your own, but no matter what, he definitely divided the fan base. Solo that came out 6 months later, I thought that movie was fine, but definitely because of The Last Jedi, that movie tanked and suffered, and they didn't make any sequels to Solo. And so it really.
Star Wars movie should never tank.
Wait, is that?
A Star Wars movie should never tank.
No. It's a big name. So, and Solo wasn't even that bad. It was just affected by The Last Jedi.
But I agree with you on Last Jedi. I liked Force Awakens a lot, probably because it did copy New Hope a lot. But the way it ended with Luke or Rey going over there, finding Luke, trying to hand him his lightsaber, and then for the first scene in Last Jedi, him to toss the lightsaber behind him. From that moment in the movie, I was like, I don't like that at all. Because, like you said, I thought they put down Luke to prop up Rey, and they could have made Rey be a character without trying to put down Luke. And they did that whole movie trying to make him like, I don't like Jedi's. Jedi's are bad. All this. We need to kill the Jedi's. And then at the end, the scene at the end is pretty cool when he projects himself with the battle with Kylo. That was cool. But yeah, and then there's the pointless scene with the Finn and I forget the other character's name. Rose goes to the casino city. That whole point was just to fill time, really. But there are a lot of decisions in that movie that I thought Rian Johnson I didn't like. He took Kylo. He pretty much Kylo Ren was not in his mask the whole movie. Pretty much because he destroyed it in the beginning, I think. He didn't do it, and then they killed the Snoke in the middle of it, and he was kind of just like pointless. I'm like, why do we prop him up as this new Emperor type character in the first one just to kill him off in a kind of comedic way in the second one, and just not build them up. I think I agree with you that Rian Johnson kind of was like, this is my Star Wars movie. I don't care what you want to do. I don't care what happened before this or after this. This is my movie.
He literally has a quote like beforehand where he says like, I want to make a movie where half the people like it and half the people hate it. Which I'm just like, no one in their right mind in Hollywood or any movie industry would ever say. You want everyone to like the movie.
The next movie he did with Knives Out, he did a good job with that.
Yeah.
This Star Wars, I don't want to have anywhere near a Star Wars movie ever again.
No, he shouldn't touch it again ever.
He accomplished his goal because there's people who love this. So for me, I didn't think it was as bad as these other guys, but it could have been a lot better. For me, it was there.
Attack of the Clones blows this out of the water.
There were a couple things that I will like. I did like they did address the whole Rey beating Kylo of trying to explain it of like, okay, well, the reason Rey beat Kylo first time was because Rey had just killed his father and had suffered an injury and wasn't 100% mentally in that fight with Rey, so that's why Rey was able to beat Kylo in Force Awakens. I like it kind of addressed that part.
She beat him in this movie too.
Yeah, I like it addressed that part. It like kind of hit at it of like, yeah, well, when you think about that, it does. It just didn't make sense with the tone from the first one. Because
the beginning, I knew.
I mean, like many people, I'll say I love the originals. Anybody who knows me, and maybe one day we'll discuss this. Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie. At me, that is the best one ever made. The prequels, not a huge fan of. Not a huge fan. Probably not as harsh as others, but not a huge fan. When you came out with Force Awakens, I was excited. And I felt it accomplished its goal. Yeah, was it a New Hope? Yes. But you know what? Sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes that's what the movie needs, is to bring it back. And I felt there was a lot of things J.J. Abrams set up that were great. And also, Luke is my favorite character in it. And when I was waiting the whole time, and when you saw him at the end of Force Awakens, I was like, I can't wait for The Last Jedi. And even in the trailer was good.
Oh, the trailer was amazing.
There was this moment where Luke says the Jedi must end, and I was like, that's interesting. Well, what is he gonna replace it with? Like
Nothing.
Because he kind of had a point with it, but just where they went with it, it was like, what?
He was just angry the whole movie. Just I don't want to talk to you or anything. It's just weird.
Yeah,
Ray should have took Kylo's hand. It would have been a lot more interesting.
Yeah, that too. That a little annoyed me. Ray's hand get cut off because that's just it. Like, come on, I don't ask for much, but yeah, that just was like what the whole thing of like, wait, what? Like, because when he was explaining it, because the trailer, great job. It sold me on the movie. I was so excited. But it could have been better.
A lot of the
it should have been better. It should have been better. It was just like Ian said. You know, if you were going to have Rian Johnson direct it, you should have had him direct the first one and gone that way. I'm not suggesting it would have helped with the continuity. It was just, I feel a lot of the problems people have with Rise of Skywalker is because J.J. Abrams was trying to undo everything Rian Johnson did and make his own movie, and J.J. Abrams had already written out 3 stories, the whole thing for this new one, and they kind of said, that's cute, but we're not going to do that. And it's like, wait, what are you going to do? And it just seemed like nobody knew what the heck they were doing. Like Disney, it seemed like nobody knew what they were doing.
There was no plan. That was the biggest problem. There was no plan. Like, as much as you can make fun of George Lucas, which I don't have any problems with him, but as much as you make fun of it, at least it felt like the same universe. Where here they played hot potato with directors, and it was just kind of like, okay, what was the point? What was the point?
And then it's just the product, which is why we got to where we got.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I did like the scene with Kylo and Rey fighting the army.
Yeah.
That was really cool. That was actually, I'll give you the lightsaber scenes were still pretty cool. The projection, that was awesome. But like there was some other stuff that just was like...
They wasted Finn and they dumbed down Poe.
Oh, for sure. Pretty much all male characters. They dumbed down.
Weird, because like you said, J.J. Abrams was trying to undo everything. In this, and for Last Jedi, he shoots the ship to try to kill his mother, and that's when she does the Mary Poppins thing.
Yeah.
But then in the third one, he gets upset, and his mom dying turns him back good. So why would he try to kill his mom if then he's going to be sad about it?
And he doesn't care about his father. That doesn't make any sense.
Like you just tried to kill her 2 weeks ago, dude. Now you're sad about it?
Yeah.
Are you sad because you didn't do it?
Probably was.
I know that beginning scene, which I thought was okay.
Yeah,
People had with Poe and the phone call.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, there was just some things that just were like, it could have been better.
I could legit talk bad about this movie for hours. Legit.
What's next?
Yeah. So
wait, can I say a bright note real quick? I will say, like, as much as I think that divided us, like, Disney is definitely learning. The movies are getting better. I promise you. The TV shows, Bad Batch, Mandalorian, phenomenal. There's a lot of good stuff coming. So, like, Star Wars is not in the rut. They're gonna get better. They're gonna learn. Trust me. It'll be a lot better.
Well, I hope so.
I know Disney not listening, but I don't care. Bring back Darth Maul.
Start the campaign. #bring back Darth Maul. Yeah, can't wait for Obi-Wan Kenobi though. That would be cool.